If the criminal justice system has brought you in or targeted you, the time is right now to begin thinking about what is this going to do to the rest of your life? How is this going to influence your prospects for getting a job, your prospects for resuming your life the way that you want to live it, or what type of challenges can potentially come? Because the statistics are really clear. The longer that we expose somebody to corrections, the less likely that person really becomes to function in society as a fully operational citizen of this country. We get marginalized with regard to finding jobs. You get marginalized when it comes to finding housing. You get marginalized when it comes to creating opportunities that you can use to advance your life to the next level. And it's super important to start thinking about these complications very early. My name is Michael Santos, and I'm the founder of Prison Professors. And I had to learn about this strategy of getting ready for the journey ahead because when I was 20 years old, back in mid-1980s, I started making a series of really bad decisions. On August the 11th, 1987, the authorities brought me into custody. And by the time my proceedings ended in the judicial system, I had a 45-year sentence. Had I learned to think differently at the very start, I never would have gotten that much time. Fortunately, once I got the sentence, I learned to start thinking differently. I learned to stop thinking about the challenges that I'm in right now, this minute, and to start projecting, what do I want to build? What do I want to create for my life in the years and decades ahead? And that's something that I would encourage anybody that is working through the Prison Professors programming to start doing right now. Start thinking about what seeds can I sow to influence a better outcome. And that better outcome may be, depending upon where you are, getting a better pre-sentence investigation report. It may be getting a lower sentence. It may be having a more productive journey through prison. It may be positioning yourself so that when the time comes, authorities are transitioning you from prison to home confinement or some type of reentry program. It may be having a higher level of liberty while on supervised release, or even getting back in the game of your career and not being completely pigeonholed on what you can do because of your complication with the criminal justice system. So if you're watching this outside on YouTube or iTunes, I do hope that you will subscribe and visit our website at prisonprofessors.com. If you're inside of a jail or a prison, I hope that you will work through all of these courses that we are offering. And this daily discussion is really just something that I would be talking about if I were with you right now. I would turn to our daily discussion and I would talk about, as I'm doing right here on today's blurb, networking is an investment in your future. It doesn't matter if you're in a difficult situation like a prison or living with any type of struggle. By building solid relationships with influential people, a person can create more value. Strive to attract more people who share your values and goals. This networking strategy will open new opportunities to help you climb from struggle to prosperity. Again, this strategy you should use regardless of where you are. And people come into our funnel or into our channel of products at all different stages. Some people are in detention centers right now waiting to be sentenced. Other people are already serving time. Other people are contemplating, I may be going to the system. I don't know what to do. It's really important that you start thinking about networking, about building a group of people that can be supportive of your efforts to prepare for success. The earlier you start doing that, the better you can start developing a network that hopefully can become advocates for you and influential in the success that you want to build. I'm going to turn now to the lesson of the day on daily discussions. You can always visit us at prisonprofessors.com if you don't have access to them, so that you could download them from our resources tab. But let me go ahead and start reading. I wrote about tripartite goals to prepare for success in an earlier entry. One prong required that I bring 10 people I did not know into my support network. I had to create a strategy to initiate and strengthen connections with people that did not know me. Engineering a pathway to build a strong support network from inside prison required an excellent strategy. Some people prefer anonymity and choose different techniques to adjust. For example, I recently spoke with a business executive that received a 42-month sentence. He solicited advice on how he could use the time inside to prepare in ways that would help him overcome the challenges he expected to face when he came home. I recommended that he begin sowing seeds to repair his reputation. After all, he will finish his sentence and return to the business world. He disagreed that he should bring any attention to his reputation. He hoped for a new beginning and wanted to forget about the debacles that led to his imprisonment. When the sentence ended, he didn't want any ties to the decisions that led him to prison. Everyone struggling must choose how to climb out to a better life. I chose transparency. By documenting everything, I believed I could influence how others perceived me. From my perspective, if I were going to ask someone to believe in me and open opportunities, I had a duty and a responsibility to communicate honestly about the bad decisions of my youth. If I revealed the bad choices of my past, I could take next steps. I could show them the documented strategy I created to reconcile with society. If successful, I believed that I would convert adversaries into advocates. Many people disagreed with my approach. We all define success differently, yet we all must decide on how we are going to overcome. We're in the era of Google. If we don't document a strategy, we may have made a decision that leads to a harsher adjustment. I chose to strengthen connections. And to strengthen connections, I worked hard to prove myself worthy. During my first years, I worked to earn university degrees. Since I was in school, I could talk about working towards something positive that others could respect. When my schoolwork advanced, I began publishing papers. And through those efforts, I exposed my ideas and observations to other readers, opening opportunities to connect. Then I nurtured those connections. This strategy influenced my return to society. While I concluded the final year of my sentence inside a San Francisco halfway house, I got an invitation from California State University, San Francisco. When I visited the university, it was the first time I had ever stepped foot on a university campus. After I gave a presentation, the team asked if I wanted a job. And I didn't know what they expected, but they told me they wanted me to be a professor. So how did that happen? Well, the seeds that I started to sow at the start of the journey led to connections that I didn't even understand. As it turned out, the head of the criminal justice department told me that he had read books I wrote when he was in graduate school. Had I not written those books, he would not have known who I am. And had he not known who I am, he wouldn't have offered an opportunity for me to begin working as a professor. So sow good seeds now to build connections that will open opportunities in your future. So here are some of these open-ended questions I like to leave people with at the end of our daily discussion. Describe the most important people in your support network. What steps are you taking to strengthen those connections? In what ways do those people support your efforts to succeed? What characteristics would you like to see in the people that make up your support group? What steps are you making to convert your adversaries into your advocates? And the word of the day is tripartite. So define tripartite, and then use tripartite in a sentence. Now, what I want you to know is that had I had this mindset at the very start, right after my arrest, or preferably before my arrest, but right after my arrest, I could have started building a support network that may have been more helpful to me through the criminal justice proceedings, but I didn't. The good news is it's never too early and it's never too late to start building a pathway toward a better life. What I mean by what could I have done before sentencing is I could have been really building a body of work showing the way that I wanted to reconcile with society, make amends with victims, and demonstrate I don't want to be a criminal anymore. That could potentially have led to more people supporting me, and that potentially could have led to a sentence that wasn't measured in multiple decades. But I didn't do it before then. My judge sentenced me to 45 years, and I had to serve that time inside of high security prisons. But because leaders taught me how to think differently, I could start engineering this pathway, understanding that I've got to solve little problems in order to be in a position to overcome the big problems that will later await me. And those big problems were, how am I going to come back to society? What jobs will be open to me? So I adjusted my time in prison accordingly. I wanted to get a support network that could help me, but first I had to do something worthy of making that support system help me. The prison system wasn't going to open those paths. I had to learn how to do it on my own, and you have to learn how to do it on your own. That's why I invite you, if you're still outside in society and you're watching this on some type of social media channel, subscribe to us, but then go ahead and visit us at prisonprofessors.com, where we give away all kinds of free information to help people at various stages of the journey. But if you're inside of a jail or a prison, don't just scan through these lessons and courses, because we're building them for you. We truly want to help all justice impacted people get the best possible outcome. So work through the questions, give it some thought, figure out how you could use them and apply them to your life, because that's what the daily discussion is all about. It's really about your life. My name is Michael Santos, and as the founder of Prison Professors, on behalf of our entire team, I want you to know that we believe in you. Thanks.